Day 6. Abundant Freedom. Empty, abandoned, and alone. Gripped with shame, you cry out for answers. How could someone rob you of your innocence, then disregard you so easily? Angry and rebellious, you lash out. By instilling fear into people's lives, you discover you can control the chaos around you. Manipulation and deceit become your drugs of choice. Armed with half-truths and unfulfilled promises, you greet people with an insincere smile and shallow sophistication. It pleases you to know that your facade is a lie. Your lies bring you comfort. They feed your need for pain and disappointment, the only two things you've ever known. You cry out again, but you're hesitant. The only reference point you have of God is a vague memory from a Sunday school class you attended as a child. There you heard that God is a loving Father and that He cares about those He loves. For an understanding of a loving Father you consider your own. Drunk and full of rage, He's the reason you spent your childhood cowering in fear. Failing grades, fights, and expulsions from school happened regularly and without consequence. This gave birth to trouble as a teen and ultimately led you down the path you are currently on. Because of a difficult past, the idea of appealing to a God with the likeness of your earthly father is extremely intimidating. But that doesn't matter anymore. The weight of your shame is just too much. In a desperate plea, you cry out to this loving God, expecting to cower under the heavy hand once again. In the message, Eugene Peterson writes, "Because of the sacrifice of the Messiah, His blood poured out on the altar of the cross, we are a free people, free of penalties and punishments chalked up by all our misdeeds. And not just barely free either, abundantly free." Ephesians 1, verse 7. Free! Did you hear that? Jesus doesn't just give us access to the Heavenly Father, He makes us free, and not just barely free, but abundantly free. Free from the hurt and pain brought on by our drunk and enraged parents. Emptiness and abandonment disappear, and so does fear. Instead of feeling lonely, we are welcomed into an eternal community where we don't need to hide behind fake smiles and white lies. Hebrews 4, verses 14 and 15 teaches us that God is not far away in another universe minding His own business as we conduct our life on earth. Instead, He sympathizes with our weaknesses. God isn't concerned about a person's outward appearance. He cares about the condition of a person's heart. 1 Samuel chapter 16, verse 7. So let me ask you, what condition is your heart in today? If you had a face-to-face encounter with God tonight, would you meet Him with a smile on your face, knowing that you have nothing to hide? Or would you slink into the nearest crawl space before responding to the Lord's requests? If you find yourself playing hide and seek with the Lord, then I would encourage you to spend some time in prayer, asking Him to lavish you with His unconditional grace and His tender, loving touch. So if the Son sets you free, you will be free indeed. John chapter 8, verse 36, New International Version.